Hello and welcome. In recent days, there has been a controversy about the pen-shaped memorial that is going to be built in the sea in memory of the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Sriram V Karunanidhi. This is the right time to look broadly at the history of all the memorials and statues that have come up on the beach. But before that, who was the first Indian to get a statue for himself on the beach? That question also has to be answered. Let us see in this episode what we can cover on this subject. The first person to get a statue on the beach is Queen Victoria. In 1887, when the golden jubilee of her reign was being celebrated, Gode Narayana Gajapati Rao, a zamindar of Visakhapatnam, funded her statue, which came all the way from England and was installed here outside the University Senate House, unveiled by the then Governor of Madras, Lord Connemara. Thereafter, there was a long gap. But then, the first Indian to get a statue on the beach was V Krishnaswami Iyer, about whom we must dwell at some length. Born in 1863 in the Kumbakonam area, he completed his schooling there and then came to Madras in 1882 to study law. In 1884, he obtained the sanad to practice as a vakil in the High Court of Madras. For the first 4 years, he struggled. But then from 1888 began a remarkable career that took him to the very top of his profession. In 1906, V Krishnaswami Iyer had the opportunity to argue when the Arbuthnot Bank case came up before the High Court. Arbuthnot was one of the largest banking companies of India, headquartered in Madras city. In October 1906, the bank went bust and took with it the savings of several thousand Indians. Even the governor of Madras, Sir Arthur Lawley, lost money in the bank. When the case came up before the High Court of Madras, the British establishment at that time was very keen that the promoters of Arbuthnot Company should be let off very lightly. But the Indians were opposed to it. Unfortunately for the English people, the judge who sat over the case was Sir S. Subramania Iyer. And when the case opened for trial, Eardley Norton, the noted barrister, appeared on behalf of Sir George Gough Arbuthnot, the managing director and partner of Arbuthnot and Company. Ranged on the opposite side were several Indian vakils, most prominent of whom was V Krishnaswamy Iyer. When Norton saw V Krishnaswamy Iyer, he realized that he had to eliminate him from the trial, and therefore he raised a legal objection, saying that a case of this stature had to be argued by a barrister. V Krishnaswamy Iyer immediately took off his lawyer's gown, placed it on his chair, and said that he had not come there to argue as a lawyer, but he had come to argue as an affected party because he had lost money in the bank. The judge had no objection, and thereafter the trial continued. It ended in the conviction of Sir George Gough Arbuthnot and his imprisonment. V Krishnaswamy Iyer was the man who enthused the Indians of Madras to form a bank of their own. He said, when an English bank has let us down, it is time for us to start a bank by ourselves. He got the prominent Natukotai Nagaratars and the Muslim businessmen of Madras to put money into what was named as the Indian Bank, and it's a bank that continues even today. It is one of the earliest banks of India founded by Indians themselves. Post the Arbuthnot Bank case, V Krishnaswamy Iyer went even higher in the legal profession. He became exceedingly wealthy, and he put his wealth to very good use in the favor of several charitable causes. Firstly, he was the man who got the songs of Subramanya Bharati printed for the first time. He was so impressed by the composition Sendamil Nadenum Podinile that he funded the printing of 3 of Subramanya Bharati's works. And thereafter, we see Bharati has remained continuously in print. Krishnaswamy Iyer at this time moved from his long-time residence in South Mada Street of Mylapore into the very posh Luschurch Road and built an enormous residence for himself by the name of Ashrama. Today, Krishnaswamy Avenue stands where Ashrama once stood. A large mansion has been replaced by several multi-storied buildings, blocks of flats and individual houses. He was also a member of the Congress Party. In 1909, Krishnaswami Iyer was invited to become a judge of the High Court of Madras. His decision to accept this post was strongly criticized by the Congress and Subramanya Bharati, who wrote several articles attacking him in the Swadesamitran. There were many private and personal reasons as to why V Krishnaswami Iyer probably accepted this post. That was the year his wife passed away, and he had also become a victim of diabetes, an illness for which there was no known cure at that time. Having a family of several young children, he probably felt that becoming a judge would enable him to devote more time to his family. He was also known for his enormous philanthropy. It was in the early 1900s that he first founded the Madras Sanskrit College in order to further the education in that language. He was a great proponent of Ayurveda system of medicine and so created the Venkatramana Ayurveda dispensary in Kacheri Road. When he realized that Indians were not allowed to become members of English clubs, he started the Mylapore Club. In order to encourage Indians to read more, he began the Ranade Public Library. He gave his money copiously to several worthy causes. In 1909, having become a judge of the High Court of Madras, in 1911, he was invited to become a member of the Governor's Executive Council, and he became one as well. That was the year when the grand imperial coronation darbar of King George V was planned in Delhi in the month of December, and it was announced that among the many prominent Indians to be given special recognitions, V Krishnaswami Iyer would be getting the title of the Companion of the Star of India together with a medal, and he would have to go to Delhi to receive it from the King Emperor himself. In December, Krishnaswami Iyer left for Delhi. Once there was a dress rehearsal for the actual event. Unfortunately, a silk sash cut his thigh, and because he was heavily diabetic, the wound turned septic almost at once. He came back to Madras by train, the fastest mode of conveyance at that time. Several treatments were tried, but there was no avail, and on December 28, 1911, he died when he was just 47. In a short life, he had achieved a lot. Early in 1912, a meeting was held in the banqueting hall, which we today call as Rajaji Hall, to discuss a suitable memorial for Krishnaswami Iyer. Attending the meeting was Sir S. Subramanya Iyer, the judge who had sat over the case, the Arbuthnot case. He was very fond of Krishnaswami Iyer, considering him almost to be a son. At that meeting, several people raised objections to the idea that a statue for Krishnaswami Iyer should be raised. The reason for this was that when Sir T. Muthuswami Iyer, the first Indian to become a judge of the High Court of Madras, died in 1895, there was a proposal to erect a statue for him in the High Court premises. V. Krishnaswami Iyer was one of the people who objected to it because he said it was against the practices of Hindu Dharma. But he was overruled, and in 1898 the white marble statue came from England and was installed in the Central Court of the High Court of Madras, where it stands even today. You will even now find lawyers touching the feet of that statue before they go in to argue for their cases. It was that objection which was now raised against Krishnaswami Iyer's statue. But Sir S. Subramanya Iyer, in a very emotional and tearful speech, appealed to the people that a statue for such a great philanthropist was an absolute necessity, and people, not willing to offend the old man, agreed with him. And thereafter, money was paid to Francis Derwent Wood, a sculptor in England, and the sculpture arrived in due time and was installed outside the University Senate House. The reason for that was that Krishnaswami Iyer himself was a member of the University Senate. And so his statue found itself outside the University Senate House. In 1935, Subramanya Iyer's statue would also come up on the same spot, and the two of them stand there even today looking out into the sea. Thereafter, it became the practice to erect several statues facing the beach. You had statue for Uve Swaminath Iyer in Presidency College, Annie Besant's statue came up, Swami Vivekananda's statue came up, Sir A. Lakshmanaswamy Mudaliar got a statue outside the university buildings. And then in the 1950s, Mahatma Gandhi statue became the first one, as I mentioned in an earlier episode, to face the city from the beach. And following that came the Triumph of Labour statue. In 1968, the Second World Tamil Conference was held in Madras, and the then Chief Minister of the state, CN Annadurai, desired that statues of savants and contributors to the Tamil language be put up all along the beach. And that is how we got most of the statues on the beach, including one of a literary character, Kannagi. After that, we have had statues for Swami Sivananda, for Kamaraj, and for Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. We've even had a statue for Sivaji Ganesan, which for various reasons was taken away from here. There is now a statue for Selvi J. Jayalalitha standing in the Lady Willingdon campus, and so it continues. In 1968, the first memorial came up for C.N. Annadurai, who passed away that year. It even now stands, and next to it came up the memorial to M.G. Ramachandran. Thereafter, a High Court judgment said further land cannot be allotted on the beach for any memorials. Therefore, it became the practice to build memorials within memorials. The Jayalalitha Memorial and the Karunanidhi Memorial both stand within the precincts of the Anna and MGR campuses. Now, a new step has been taken to build a pen-shaped memorial in the sea. The environmentalists are fighting against it. Time alone will tell what will happen. Bye for now.